Well, the trade talks are on. Reports late this afternoon said that Chinese negotiators are now still planning to come to Washington this week to continue hammering out a deal with the U.S. That gave stocks a lift after they had already suffered steep losses this morning when investors were concerned that the Chinese were thinking about pulling out of the talks. The initial sell-off was sparked by a tweet from President Trump in which he threatened to impose additional tariffs on Chinese goods this Friday. He said that progress was moving too slowly, and he accused China of trying to renegotiate parts of a deal that had already been agreed to. Those comments caught the global markets off guard. Shanghai fell more than 5% overnight. And after a very rocky start this morning, the indexes here in the U.S. were down, but well off their lows. The Dow was down 66 points at the close. It had been down more than 400 at its lows. The Nasdaq dropped by 40 and the S&P was down by 13. And then very late this afternoon, there was a meeting at the Trade Representative's office in Washington. Our Kayla Tausche was there. And Kayla, you found out there's a timetable now for the restart of the talks and for the tariffs, right?
That is correct, Bill. The Chinese vice premier is expected to be in Washington for talks Thursday evening and Friday. So the show will go on. But this round of negotiations, the 11th round between the U.S. and China, will be shorter and perhaps a little bit more tense, considering that the U.S. Trade Representative Ambassador Robert Lighthizer said these heightened tariffs will go into effect at the end of the day Thursday, 12:01 a.m. on Friday. Those tariffs go up to 25%. From 10% on $200 billion of goods imported from China.
Kayla, last week when leaving Beijing, the Treasury Secretary said the meeting had been productive. So what happened to precipitate this kind of breakdown?
The Treasury Secretary acknowledged this afternoon to reporters that the meetings had been productive and that both negotiators felt there had been substantial progress that had been made through these rounds. But he said over the weekend, the U.S. negotiating team was given new information by China where they reneged on previous commitments and that there was a significant erosion in what China was willing to put on the table. The Treasury Secretary said that it was very clear that the language that was changed would have the potential to change the deal dramatically. He said the president was willing to hold off on increasing tariffs so long as there was progress. And once China backtracked on that, they didn't feel there was.
So what are you hearing? What's the likelihood of a deal either this week or at all?
Well, the Treasury Secretary said there's the potential for talks to get back on track. But it does appear that the U.S. negotiating team has lost faith in China, that they felt that they had certain things that had been agreed to that were underpinning the deal, certain commitments from China that then at this very late stage of the game, China was willing to back out of. That certainly gives U.S. negotiators pause, though they are cautiously optimistic that there could be some resumption of talks, even if not a deal this week as expected.
Kayla Tausche in Washington for us tonight. Kayla, thanks again.